Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Triple. I'm your host, Casey, at Niners_fanman on socials. You can follow me there. We've got a story from the NFL here brought to you by Yahoo Sports. The headline reads Patriots corner Jack Jones pleads not guilty to 9 gun charges. That's 9 different gun charges. That sounds like a big ordeal. Let's dive into the story, find out a little bit more about what happened. So, Patriots cornerback Jack Jones appeared in East Boston Municipal Court where he pled not guilty to 9 weapons charges on Tuesday. All right, so this was earlier in the week. The 25-year-old was arrested on June 16th at Boston's Logan International Airport when 2 loaded Glock 9mm firearms were found in his carry-on luggage. Oh boy. So 2 different fully loaded 9mm Glock firearms in his carry-on. Oh boy, pretty sure that's not allowed, but let's keep reading. He had no intention of bringing any guns onto an airport that day, said his lawyer, Rosemary Scapicchio. Jones posted a $30,000 bail and is expected to return to court on August 18th. That's an off day prior to the Patriots' preseason game against the Green Bay Packers, though it's unclear what discipline he'll face from the team, this being Bill Belichick's Patriots. You never know. He isn't really one for distractions, so this could go probably one of one ways. This is probably something that's going to be a pretty hefty disciplinary action by the team. But there's also a chance that maybe the Patriots brass kind of buys into this story that Jones will tell. I'm not saying it's an untrue story necessarily. If he truly had no intention of doing that and it was just all an accident, that seems kind of far-fetched given that there were 2 loaded Glocks in his carry-on. But let's keep reading, see what happens. Maybe we can speculate a little bit more at the end of the story. In addition to an airport security violation, Jones was charged with 2 counts each of unlawful possession of a firearm, carrying a loaded firearm, possession of a large capacity magazine, and possession of ammunition without a firearm identification card. Okay, so some particulars there. This is something we've talked about actually before, given the John Morant happenings of late. We've gotten into the topic of gun ownership in the U.S., and at least from me, I don't speak for everybody from Triple Cross necessarily, but from Casey, Niners at Niners_fanman on socials, you could hit me up there if you disagree or if you do agree. I believe that it is a right for American citizens, adult American citizens, to legally own and carry and house firearms. I think that's part of what this country was built on. But not to get ultra political, basically, I think that with that right comes a lot of responsibilities, like in Spider-Man. With power comes, with privileges comes a power to do right, responsibility. This feels like, sure, it could all be an accident, but even if it's an accident, does that clear somebody from mucking up a situation so bad? I mean, no firearm ID card. I think at the very least, the responsible gun owners I know, even if they accidentally had that's probably something they carry on them. That for the most part. This is also something with a large capacity magazine. Gun laws are kind of weird, so that could be something that's not all that serious. There's some buzzwords around large capacity and stuff, but that does speak to, I'm not saying that he was that Jones would have intended to use these guns or anything like that, but it is strange to get a large capacity magazine type of upgrade onto a Glock. As far as I know, I am no gun expert, but I can only imagine what even when he purchased this, what's his intended use. Probably self-defense. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But with athletes like John Morant being in the news lately for just kind of wielding these guns on camera, especially like a vanity upgrade, which I think a large capacity magazine, you could argue it's a performance upgrade, being able to shoot more bullets. Essentially, that's what the large magazine would do. But it's also, as far as I could tell, that would also change the aesthetics, and that might be something you see more out of like a video game. I don't know exactly. I don't know what his intention was. I don't know. We do now know what the charges were, but let's keep reading and before we decide fully what we think on this one. Jones was almost fired, quote, almost fired, due to the social media response to his arrest. Scapiccio said outside of the court, according to Mass Live. So, yeah, apparently Jones's lawyer says he was almost fired due to the social media response. And I actually think that not being fired based off of a social media response is the right move. Again, like with John Morant, and something we haven't really even discussed as a possibility is he just outright released because of this? Is he fired off the squad? Now, John Morant is an NBA superstar, a young budding superstar, one of the faces of the league if he could get his act together. So he's definitely not getting cut. Jack Jones, I'm less familiar with. I don't know where he falls on the depth chart for the Patriots at corner, but if I would say if he's the guy on the bubble, this is an easy release. Maybe you keep him through the preseason, but you don't want to roster this guy if there's any questions about stuff like this off the field, and he just happens to be like a bubble roster player, meaning he's one of the last guys on the roster, not one of the more talented guys. So if you were a superstar, I think he would get off pretty carte blanche here, even from the Patriots organization, which has a history of being more intense about stuff like this. We'll see how this turns out for Jones. I don't know how good of a ball player he is to begin with, and whether you think that's right or not, whether that's weighed into the decision of the punishment by the teams, it most certainly is. So you can disagree with that premise that that's like the right way to go about it, but I hate to break it to you, that is just the way that it is with sports and really all businesses. People at the top are harder to bring down. They can get away with a lot more. So all Mr. Jones wants to do is play football, said Jones's lawyer via the Boston Globe. He doesn't want to be a distraction at all. Okay. The Patriots drafted Jones in the 4th round of last year's draft. So there's some answers there. 4th round draft capital. This is his 2nd year in the league, his sophomore season. At positions like corner, a year in the league is going to help you develop quite a bit. The Patriots drafted him, so it's not another team's draft pick. It is theirs. It's homegrown talent. 4th round, kind of middling draft capital. But the Patriots love those kinds of guys. So I actually do see this as a guy that this guy would be in their long-term plans. Probably a potential, I don't know their depth chart, like I said, but probably a potential like starting replacement if somebody goes down to injury. He might be their number 2 corner at this point. Just depends on who else they've got on the roster. But I bet he gets meaningful snaps during this season, or at least he would have, barring this situation. So he played 13 games, recording 30 total tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown as a rookie last season. He also served a team-imposed 2-game suspension. So 13 games he played doesn't mean he started. It probably would mention how many games he started if he did, so maybe this is all in relief. I don't know, just kind of snaps here and there. He recorded 30 total tackles as a corner. That's quite a few. 2 interceptions and a touchdown as a rookie. That either means he did have quite a few snaps to get 2 picks as a rookie, and one of them being a touchdown. He would either need a ton of snaps or he did a lot with few snaps if he didn't get a ton. So as far as talent goes, it sounds like Jones really is a significant talent, a rising talent. That potentially did save his butt when it comes to team repercussions here. His playing time for USC ended after 2 seasons in 2018 due to academic issues. Later that year, police said he burglarized a Panda Express, which landed him 45 days of house arrest. He transferred to Arizona State, where he was suspended for most of the 2020 season for violation of team rules. Jones reportedly refused questions and didn't make a statement Tuesday. The Patriots issued a statement acknowledging his arrest and declined further comment. So the Patriots are declining further comment, keeping their options open with what they're going to do. I think that's the right move by the Patriots. They can upkeep their reputation as kind of being this like no nonsense place to play football. If they want to, they can do that, later this week or next week, whatever. It's the off season, so you need bodies at camp and things. I don't even think people will hold it against them if they roster, quote unquote, roster this guy on the 90-man roster in the offseason. If he makes the final 53, maybe people will start having an issue with it, because I think social blowback is something you have to weigh here. But clearly this guy is a good player, and the Patriots want to believe in his talent going forward. But knowing that he has some past stuff here with the Panda Express and academic issues, and just his playing time ended in college after stuff. He did 45 days of house arrest for the Panda Express thing. Suspended for the 2020 season, violating team rules. This doesn't, on paper at least, sound like a guy who is committed to the Patriot way. So my guess is the Patriots will try to get value out of him in one way or another. Ultimately, I don't think that they're thrilled about keeping this guy on and hinging their future on this guy getting a bigger role, becoming a starting corner probably. I don't think that's what they want to do. So maybe they do look to trade this guy. It seems like he's got some pretty undeniable skills as a corner. Maybe you just accept anything for him, a 6th-round draft pick, a 7th-round draft pick, and you just take it on the chin. He's probably got a pretty good contract situation, being a 4th-round draft pick. I think it's a 3-year deal. This would be a 2nd-year deal. So some team could trade for him and get him for this year, and I think next season as well, on a really cost-controlled contract. Sounds like he could be an impact player, or at least a good depth piece to just about any squad if he can stay on the field and away from all these violations and punishments and suspensions from both the league and his team, whichever team that happens to be, or maybe he finds himself unrostered due to this stuff. You hate to see an athlete mess up and potentially screw up their entire career, but it seems like one of the Patriots corners could potentially be going through that right now. I would love to know what you guys think. So if you're on audio platforms like podcast, apps, Spotify, something like that, please write a review telling us what you think of the Triple Cross podcast or the Daily Triple podcast. Please also rate us 5 stars if you do that. We really appreciate that. If you happen to be on YouTube or other video platforms, jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about Jones, the Patriots. Which team could he potentially fit better on? Is there some kind of culture he could actually maybe fit into better? Is he just going to go unrostered? Should his career be over? How long should he get suspended? Should it be a team suspension, NFL suspension? I'd love to hear all your thoughts on that. Also on YouTube, hit the like button on the video. That helps us out a ton. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us a ton too. And hit the bell icon to get live notifications, because we do live shows every single week, and you can win gift cards on every single one of those live shows. We love to give away prizes, so if you show up because you got a bell notification to one of our live recordings, you might find yourself with a prize in hand at the end of the day, and that'd be pretty cool. Guys, I've been Casey at Niners_fanman. I've been the host of the Daily Triple, and I will continue to do that, so I'll catch you in the next clip. See ya.